Amber Heard, ignited fury, fires PR team. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. I am a narcissistic psychopath, and this enables me to understand my kind inside out, and also our victims. My unrivaled insight into the way that me and my kind and our victims behave enables me to explain it all to you so that you gain this excellent understanding. I do this as part of the extension of my legacy. If you'd like to understand more about that and why I do as I do, listen to the video, Why Am I Doing This? I have analysed Amber Heard and made an assessment based upon a wealth of evidence as to what she is. If you have not listened to that and don't yet want to know what she is, I recommend that you stop listening now and you go and listen to Amber Heard. What is she? Parts 1 through 13. You'll find it fascinating, instructive, and very interesting. For those of you that already know what she is, having listened to it, thank you for doing so. I will, of course, be analysing Johnny Depp in due course. So, that information analysis is in the pipeline. Having established, of course, what Amber Heard is, I made an assessment that she is a narcissist. And I also assessed her school and cadre, which can either be obtained by becoming a member of my channel for a very small fee, so little to pay, as a consequence of the wealth of videos and information that you receive, or you can just buy it as a standalone if you don't want to become a channel member from the Knowledge Vault. Just go to the video, Amber Heard, her school and cadre. With regard to the fact that she's a narcissist, this means that she unconsciously has to have control over everybody that comes on her radar. She needs to draw fuel. It's her lifeblood, but she doesn't know that. She might recognize that she enjoys attention, but she doesn't know that she needs this fuel. She also needs character traits, and she needs residual benefits. Whenever a narcissist's control is threatened, there is the potential that the fury that lurks beneath is ignited. If you'd like to understand more about this, read my excellent book, Fury. You'll find it on Amazon or in the Knowledge Vault. This fury exists to cause the narcissist to react in a particular way, to nullify the threat to control, and to seek out fuel. Some narcissists operate with a heated fury. Some narcissists operate with a cold fury, and some have a mixture of the two. The narcissist has a threshold at which they are able to keep that ignited fury in check, and thus often maintain a facade. In general terms, lesser narcissists have a very low threshold. These are the ones who are the hotheads that you regularly see kicking off, brawling in bars, storming out of court, lashing out verbally at people. Mid-range narcissists tend to use cold fury. Some will have heated fury in there, and they have a greater level of control because they operate facades. But there will be instances, particularly under considerable pressure and away from the facade, i.e. in private, that the level of control means that the ignited fury comes to the fore, whether it's lashing out verbally at somebody with heated fury or sulking and ignoring them with cold fury. The greater and the ultra have a very high threshold, a very high level of control, often seen as unflappable, able to maintain that smile and charm despite the provocations of that threat to control. With Amber Heard, we have a demonstration here which is very useful in terms of understanding the fact that her fury has been ignited and the reaction that she has to nullify the threat to control posed by bad headlines. The article in the New York Post by Elizabeth Rosner and Ben Kesslin tells us, Amber Heard fires PR team days before she's set to testify after torrent of bad headlines. This provides us with an excellent opportunity to understand more about her narcissism in action. Amber Heard is so upset, the article tells us, over the coverage she's been getting in her court battle with Johnny Depp that she abruptly switched to a new PR team ahead of her highly anticipated testimony this week, the Post has learned. So, what do we learn from that? Well, she does operate a facade to an extent. And she believes that she's a decent and kind and empathic person. But she's not. And of course, people have heard about the way that she's treated Depp through his testimony. Many people already have a view about her that they just simply do not like her. Others have seen much of her behaviour elsewhere and have formed a view. And of course, the allegations about taking a shit in the bed have not helped her with the name Amber Turd and #MePoo. It would be fair to say that in the court of public opinion, Depp is well ahead of her. And, of course, that amounts to a threat to control. She cannot understand why people don't accept her side of the story, because her narcissism causes her to believe that she's completely right. It doesn't cause her to realise that she's deluded. And therefore, when she sees all of these adverse headlines, she is incapable of doing this. Well, it's no surprise I'm getting all of these bad headlines. After all, my conduct has been alleged or even demonstrated to be that which many people would disapprove of. So it's kind of understandable that I'm going to get these bad headlines. Even if she was saying it didn't happen, if she were not a narcissist, she wouldn't like it, but she could still understand why these bad headlines are being generated, because of the evidence. However, she's incapable of accepting this as a consequence of the fact of the way that her narcissism governs her behaviour. Her narcissism means she can't be accountable for her behaviour, and therefore her narcissism doesn't allow her to know that these bad headlines have been generated by her own behaviour or even the allegations of her poor behaviour. It's because her PR team are doing a shit job. And therefore, it's the blame shifting. It's never her fault, it's everybody else's fault. Always the mindset of the narcissist generated by the narcissism. And therefore it's the same here. She cannot accept that her behaviour, either actual or alleged, has caused the bad headlines. It's down to the incompetence of her PR team. So first of all, that provides us with an opportunity to understand that she's engaging in blame shifting. The fact that she's not happy and is upset is a manifestation of her ignited fury, which is a response to the threat to control posed by these adverse headlines. Repeatedly, she's been getting the old kiss, kiss, bang, bang, kiss, kiss, bang, bang, each and every time the headlines have been reported on. And, as a typical narcissist, she can't help but look at these headlines because her narcissism draws her to want to know what's going on, because that's part of the assertion of control. Some narcissists, of course, are extremely nosy. It also, of course, creates a collateral consequence. What a brilliant move. Getting rid of your PR team days before you're due to engage in your own testimony. So the new lot don't have much time to get up to speed, whereas the old lot did actually understand all of the nuances and could be able to manage the shit show a little better. But of course, the fact that these poor headlines have appeared, which there's nothing that her PR team could actually do about, save spending a massive amount of money bribing people extensively not to write anything adverse about her, which quite simply would be impossible. So the collateral consequence of all of this is that she, like many narcissists of her ilk, cuts off her nose to spite her face. It's not her fault, it's the PR team's fault. You're out, I'll get somebody else in. And the new people that have come in are unlikely to be able to do any better than the previous PR team. Why? The lateness of their appointment, and quite simply, you can't polish the turd that is Amber Heard. The article continues. The Aquaman actress ditched crisis PR firm Precision Strategies Thursday after getting frustrated with the press she's received since her bombshell defamation trial kicked off last month, sources said. She doesn't like bad headlines, a source said. Threat to control, you see. Another source said Heard 36 is frustrated with her story not being told effectively. Well, again, that frustration is a consequence of the threat to control. Depp, 58, is suing Heard for $50 million, claiming his ex-wife defamed him in a 2018 op-ed in the Washington Post, where she discussed being a victim of domestic violence. Heard's lawyer argued that Depp abused the actress physically and sexually. The actress, who is expected to take the stand in Fairfax, Virginia as soon as Tuesday, now has consulting firm Shane Communications on retainer to help her get across her side better in the court of public opinion, sources said. Like that's going to help. The sudden PR switch came after several days of brutal court testimony from Depp witnesses and a fiery social media mob that turned against Heard. All of that amounts to a threat to control. Her new PR team, led by CEO David Shane, has worked against Depp before. The firm helped highlight allegations lodged by Depp's former business managers, the management group alleging that the Pirates of the Caribbean star needed to hire a shrink for his compulsive spending habit of $2 million per month. Still, communication experts told the Post that Heard's new flacks have an uphill battle ahead of them. After years of narrative building, you can't change the public's opinion in 3 weeks when somebody's suing you in a case, said a crisis management PR insider. Oh, but Amber Heard thinks you can because of her unreasonable magical thinking, her sense of entitlement and lack of accountability. Ex-Pete Buttigieg campaign maven Liz Smith said, "It's crazy to change teams in the middle of a trial like this because you don't like the headlines. Indeed, but Amber Heard won't see it this way. Her narcissism tells her this is exactly the right thing to do." She said Heard's former PR firm Precision Strategies, which was co-founded by ex-Obama advisor and deputy campaign manager Stephanie Cutter, is one of the best crisis firms. But they can't rewrite the history of what's happened. But of course, Amber Heard would like that to be the case, because that's what her narcissism does. The actress never wanted cameras in the courtroom in the first place, but Depp's team won the fight to have the entirety of the trial testimony live-streamed, meaning neither team could cherry-pick what information made its way out of the courtroom. Threat to control again. To date, the trial has featured photos of feces, severed digits and melted ice cream, as well as a discussion about Depp's penis. Standard day at Tudor Towers, to be quite frank. Interest in the sensational case has led to the courthouse in Virginia turning into a circus, with scores of Depp fans, some of whom have travelled from as far as Australia, packing the gallery. Precision Strategies, Shane Communications and reps for Depp declined to comment to the Post on Heard's PR switch. The actor was not named in the Washington Post essay at the centre of the Virginia trial, but he claims it clearly referenced him and ruined his career, damaged his reputation and cost him tens of millions of dollars. Depp, who has denied the abuse allegations, told the jury he brought the suit to clear his name. Heard's lawyers claim that his denials are not credible because he was often too drunk or high to recall what happened. Depp had previously filed a similar lawsuit in the UK against the Sun over an article called him a wife-beater and lost. This is an excellent example of the type of narcissist that Amber Heard is, reacting to the repeated threats to control posed by adverse publicity, both in terms of newspaper headlines and social media observations about her behaviour. Rather than accept that she's brought it on herself, her narcissism will not allow that to happen. She therefore blame shifts, saying that the PR firm that was there in the first place wasn't doing their job properly, and, in a move which cuts off her nose to spite her face, installs another PR team. They're not going to be able to solve things. They may even find themselves being hired and fired, and somebody else replacing them. It'll be interesting, of course, to see what further comes out of the court with regard to her testimony, and particularly under cross-examination, and whether we see more instances of her ignited fury. But this ongoing trial allows you to understand, through my excellent work, what's really going on with regard to Amber Heard. Make sure you like this video and share it to other people so they can understand what's truly going on. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.